So, something really scary happened last night. I went into cardiac arrest while I was out in the community with my two kids and alone. And there's nothing scarier for a mother to experience an emergency crisis situation or, you know, a major health issue suddenly and spontaneously when there's no one to call to help with your kids so that you can experience this crisis, and all you can do is pray because the only person you have on your side is God. Um, yeah, it was rough. At the risk of vulnerability, I'm just gonna share my story anyways. I know that I'm not the only single mother out there that experiences issues like this. So we need to talk about it. I'm still not feeling well, but I have an appetite this morning, so that's, I know, one good sign. But I'm gonna have to make time to go to the hospital, even though that means dragging my kids out to the hospital. We have a stroller. I'll just have to make sure that they have toys, snacks, entertainment, that kind of thing. And hope that they nap in the stroller or whatever, and that I get the tests done that I need to get done and receive the medical treatment. And I can't afford to be kept in the hospital because I have no one to help with the kids, and that is one concern, for sure. Like, I'm okay with, them running the tests, but if they try to, like, admit me or anything, that's not okay. Like, I can't have my kids in the hospital with me, obviously. And I don't want a repeat of 2018, um, when I literally had to sign over my own children into foster care in 2018 because I was terminally ill. It started with a tumor in my jaw, and then a tumor in my breast was found, and then I developed sepsis because after they removed the tumor from the jaw, I experienced issues with constipation because of the pain medication, and this turned my insides septic. Anyways, I ended up being really sick and abandoned by everyone. And I couldn't even get help to get to medical appointments. And, by September, well, by August, I had to sign over my two daughters. Um, I had lost 100 pounds in just like a 6 month period. I was like skin and bones. I was so weak, fatigued. Like, I needed crutches or a wheelchair to help get around because my mobility was so reduced, my fatigue, like everything was so bad. And you know what? God saved me. It was a miraculous healing, a miraculous saving, that I'll write about in one of my books, but I don't preach about too much anymore because after God miraculously restored me to health in 2018, I started preaching to people about God, what God did for me, and spiritual warfare and everything else. And they admitted me to a hospital, and they kept me for a month. And actually, my own mother turned on me and had me admitted. Ironically enough, the woman that claims to believe in spirituality admitted me for spirituality right after she ripped the Bible in my face. It was the demons in her, didn't want to see me embracing my spirituality. So, anyways, that evil witch isn't in my life anymore, so that's fine. Instead of helping me, she would always want to hurt me. She'd always like take advantage of a situation. If I was in trouble or I needed help, she would always take advantage of it. She would get me set up or, get my kids taken or like, just do something drastic to take advantage of me. Like, she's a really evil woman, my mother. So Anyways, so I stopped preaching to people about spiritual warfare because after they hospitalized me, it gave the Child Protection Agency the ammunition they needed to keep my children away from me for even longer because of mental health concerns. So even though I got my kids back because, even though my health was restored, physically, they're like, well, mentally, we're not sure because now she's talking about miracles from God and this and that. And the truth was, like, after God healed me, I was in better shape than I had ever been. I had felt better than I had ever been, but I asked God to take the gift away because I couldn't be on that spiritual high and still fight for my kids in the court system. So I literally asked God to take it out of me, and I literally felt the energy coming out of my chest back into the mirror, actually, because the mirror is also a magic. The mirror can be a portal for energy. Anyways, if you don't believe in any of the spirituality stuff, just keep scrolling. But last night, so I went out for a walk at night. I actually find it like I found it calm and peaceful because there wasn't a lot of energies around. As an energy worker, I feel everyone's energy that comes within a certain radius of me. So, I prefer like when there's not a lot of people around at this time because I don't like feeling other people's energy intensely. I like to protect my own energy. Anyways, I was walking on the path and I got this feeling like I was being followed, but I looked back and there was no one there. And then I'm just like, oh, maybe just the angels are walking with us. I made like a joke about it. And but then I'm trying to push my stroller through the sludge and I got stuck. And I've heard about people going into cardiac arrest when they're out shoveling the snow. Well, it happened to me when I was trying to push my stroller through the sludge. It was the most bizarre, scary thing I've ever experienced. All of a sudden, like, I felt really thirsty, and then I felt like really hot and like I was gonna collapse. I had to strip my jacket off outside and my hat, and and then I'm just trying to make it into the McDonald's, and I'm trying to get through the door, and thank God they had a push button, the handicap button that you could open. And I let out a prayer in the middle of the doors, and I was like, please, God, don't let me collapse in front of these people. They're gonna call CAS, they're gonna take my kids. I can't go through this again. Please, God, don't let me pass out in front of these people. And so I'm feeling the chest pain and I'm feeling this heaviness and I'm overheating. I'm sweating. Like it's cold outside. There's snow everywhere, but I'm sweating buckets. And like I made it through the doors, thank God. And then I collapsed in the chair and everything went dark. But then I came to in a few moments, I guess, I heard my son cry. They were both in the stroller and that kind of like brought me back. And then I looked around and I'm feeling the weight. I'm sweating, like my heart is palpitating, like there's chest pain. I feel like it's gonna collapse. Almost felt like for a second like I took something I was allergic to or something. Anyways, I looked around to see if there's any good Samaritans that like I could maybe trust. I don't know. There was some relatively young black guy in the corner that gave me off vibes like maybe he's a pimp or something. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go there. I don't know. It could be my old brain programming why I thought that. But anyways, so then I look over to the other side and there was this woman there and I'm like, is she a safe person? And I just like observed her energy and I'm like, oh, she seems nice enough, but she's on drugs. And I was worried that people around me would think that I'm on drugs, even though I'm 5 years sober, because the way I was presenting looked like I was either drunk or high, but I wasn't. I was like in cardiac arrest. But it was like, fuck, if I drop right here, they're gonna call an ambulance. CAS are gonna take my kids. We have no one. So I ended up being able to like call a taxi. I got the kids McDonald's, called a taxi, came back to the hotel, tried to sleep it off. I had so much intense pressure at the top of my head, a really bad migraine. I still have chest pains today, but at least I got a bit of an appetite, so I know like that's a good sign. Um, but yeah, I don't know, the, I'm just, it sucks, it really sucks. Yeah. And all you can do is pray.